it's just sometimes you can just feel it. Like I felt it today. We were just a bit off. Like I said, we were just hesitating, and yeah, that's just not what we're capable of, and we're capable of much better than that.
Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview, this time covering VCT Americas Stage 1 for Week 2. My guest at this time is Bang of Sentinels coming off of their loss to KRU Esports in said week and in said competition. Bang, gotta give you my thanks for the opportunity for this interview. I do understand it's tough to come out of this with a loss, but nevertheless, I gotta give you the obligatory first question. What's going through your mind? How are you feeling?
Yeah, obviously it sucks. It feels like we had a lot of chances. We gave ourselves the opportunity to win. Like I feel like we got outplayed that much. Like on like a strategic level. Like it felt like we had the right reads. We kind of like they weren't faking us too hard. We kind of knew where they were going on our defense, and we were at the right at the right site usually. I mean, on Lotus, I feel like we got a little bit like we messed up some things, but at least that's how I felt on Icebox. I mean, yeah, it sucks. Felt like we definitely had this match in our hands, and we just choked.
I mean, it kind of felt like the both maps kind of transpired in the same way, in which there was relatively equal standing between both teams in the first half, and then literally in the second half, Crew just ran away with it, with you guys just only winning one round in both occasions. I mean, tough way to kind of absorb that, but like, I mean, in general, what do you feel just kind of contributed to just sort of the off play that you guys showed in the server today?
I feel like it was just like a match day thing. I don't know what it was. It was just like all of us together, like on an individual level, not even just a team. We were super hesitant, and it's not unusual for us. Like this entire week of scrims, we've been so confident and so quick, and so like decisive, and it felt so good the entire week. Felt like running up or coming into this match, like practice felt like it was going great. We worked on a lot of things, and it felt like it was actually benefit or very beneficial, and it was actually showing in this last week. But obviously, in this match, it didn't. I felt like the biggest difference in my eyes was just our hesitation and our inability to like make simple plans fast. It felt like people. I mean, we just were second guessing ourselves.
I mean, like I do kind of understand the game plan that you guys had for today. You know, picking Lotus, a relatively comfortable map, and one in which Crew haven't really played at all this year. And obviously, you know, with the performance that Crew showed to you guys, I want to ask you just sort of like, what do you feel Crew showed that made it difficult, that kind of exacerbated the kind of hesitancy, the difficulty of playing in the map on Lotus? What do you think kind of contributed that from Crew's side?
I mean, I don't really think there was much from. I mean, obviously, like they made good decisions. Like when they read that we were on A, like on already playing to hold it, they would go and pivot into B, and there was just like they had like decent endings, like and their post plans were good. Like they just had good post plans that were it made us hard. Like it was hard for us to retake. But obviously, with our comp, it's gonna be like that. But it felt like they just had that. They had what we didn't have. They had the ability to make simple plans, and they were able to like they were on the same page when they're in their post plans and in their retakes, and we just weren't. We weren't quick enough. We were hesitant, and there's just the biggest difference between us and them in the moment, and just us and how we usually are.
Over in Icebox, Crew opted for the Harbor Viper. You know, obviously like one that we haven't really seen in a while. You know, going back into 2023 when it was very prevalent, and also a little bit of 2024. Were you guys kind of like, more so? What was the reaction when you saw that Crew was going for that composition, and how did that kind of counter yours composition in that map?
I wouldn't say it really countered us. It was just I mean, we weren't thrown off by it. We were very like we've played against it before in scrims. Um Obviously we've all played against this and like even last year, like everyone has reps against Harbor Viper. It's not like a gimmick comp. Everyone kind of knows what to expect. So it was I think less about their comp and the difference between our comps and more of just about Like I think our micro planning on the map was bad. Like on our defense especially. Um, some of our post plans. I mean, our post plans are mostly all right on that map, but it didn't really feel like a comp diff. It just mostly kind of felt like we are putting ourselves in positions to win. And then like some small like micro planning went wrong, or some like someone lost their fight. Honestly, and I think some of what today was us not winning fights that we usually win as well. Like I feel like at least me individually as well. Like there was definitely times I could have stepped up and gotten a multi when I just didn't, because I just like whiffed a little bit, and that kind of felt like it happened too much for me. But I can't really speak for other people. I don't think it was that much of an issue, but that's just how I felt for myself. But yeah, I mean, just small things like clutches weren't going our way on Icebox at all. Yeah, it's just these things add up.
Yeah, as you kind of said it right there, these things added up, which then leads to the result. And if it's obviously one that I definitely know you guys will kind of take away or make the biggest takeaways and then use that for the ensuing weeks in this season. And it is the result of this week in which we kind of see the continuation of a season for Sentinels, in which it has kind of been a roller coaster, back and forth, seeing you guys be on the highs and then dropping down into the lows in quick fashion. I mean, last week we saw you guys finish off 100 Thieves with that 13-1 map win. And then, to see, go from that to here obviously must be a pretty wild emotion going through you, on top of just having to like think about what went wrong today. But like, how have you viewed the overall season so far for Sentinels? Do you kind of feel like it's been as back and forth that I kind of described to you, or do you feel like it's something that is kind of off from that?
I mean, yeah, it's just we have ups and downs. We're trying to find our foot. Like we've been like this for a little bit too long. I'm not gonna lie, we're just so inconsistent as a team. It feels. Um. Yeah. Obviously, yeah. I'm not like super like stoked about how we've been playing. Throughout the whole year so far. I think we really need to step up and start being more consistent, especially on match days. Yeah. It's not like I don't think it's the end of the world. I've been in worse spots many times before. Um, we just we just need to recover and find our footing again.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys are able to do that. I mean, just want to ask you, just sort of like you mentioned it right then and there about these kind of situations before. Obviously, looking over into the previous years in Hundred Thieves. I mean, it was around this point in which you were on the receiving end of a Sentinels victory early on in stage 1, and then obviously from that occasion you guys were able to turn around and do well, winning stage 1 and the like. But what I want to ask you, sort of encapsulate what I've been trying to preface this question is, how have you viewed the sort of comparison between, this season so far with Sentinels, and also like the season back then with 100 Thieves at this same point in time of the calendar? How do you kind of look at the comparison between those two time frames?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were absolutely capable of what 100 Thieves did last year, or at least what we did on 100 Thieves last year, where we just kind of went on an upward trajectory and we didn't really lose much from stage one. I think we have the potential for sure to be able to do that. Um, Obviously they're having like a pretty similar thing going on for them. But I'm sorry, that what you were asking? Like compare us like right now to how 100 Thieves was? Like
From your
the
point of view, given the like how you view the comparison between those two time frames, 100 Thieves, Sentinels, from your point of view, how'd you kind of like navigate that situation back then last year, and how do you kind of compare that to right now, in which you're trying to do the same thing, you're trying to contend well, compete and
yeah.
do well in the league?
I think it's just a big. I mean, for myself, it's just honestly a big confidence boost knowing that it is possible to be able to do something like that. Having like gone like up until that match, our first stage one, like a win against G2 when I was 100 Thieves, we hadn't won a single BO3 in like 11 months or close to a year. So it was just like everyone was down, people weren't confident. We get one win, people are all of a sudden confident. We just go on a roll. Obviously, it's a little bit different because we already got our win, but I mean, in my mind, it's still like okay, this win that we had last month, like a week ago against 100 Thieves, is if we play like that we will win. Like it's just there's no question in my mind. We played so confident that day, and throw away all like strategy and like all that kind of stuff about 100 Thieves. It's more of just like how we showed up that day was just really good. And it's something that we can, I feel like, replicate and we can bring over to the rest of stage one. But obviously, like today, we just didn't, and we just need to figure out why. And that's really all it is. This game, it's very like snowballable. Like if we win another match the next minute, like week, which I'm very confident we can, I think we can just learn from our mistakes this week and use that momentum to snowball for the rest of stage one.
This catalyst for, or more so, this reason as to why the team hasn't been able to perform in a consistent manner. Do you feel like it's mostly mental, or do you feel like it's something within the server, more so like coordination and stuff like that?
I'd say it's probably more mental than anything, honestly, because I feel like it comes down to the individuals and it less comes to our team work. But obviously, there is like in the like server problems as well, like where people were just not on the same page, or like retakes are people like utils wrong or some stuff like that. Be it like some micro like decision making that isn't correct, but like other than that, I feel like it's mostly just like on individuals and like our confidence levels and how like the vibe is. It's just sometimes you can just feel it. Like I felt it today. We were just a bit off. Like I said, we were just hesitating, and yeah, that's just not what we're capable of, and we're capable of much better than that.
Yeah, and you guys were definitely shown that earlier on in the year, making Masters and finishing off in top two in the kickoff. You guys definitely have the potential to do that and also surpass that mark later on down the line. Hopefully sooner rather than later. And so yeah, Bank, thank you so much for answering all my questions for this interview. Really do appreciate the conversation and giving us the insight as to what's going on within the team. Really do appreciate it for that. And of course, best of luck for yourself and the rest of the team for the road ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.